The Smurfs were introduced as a series of comic characters by the Belgian comic artist Peyo in 1958. Since then, they have appeared in cartoons on television and in live-action films. Today, we're going to look at framing and composition with the Smurfs. Composition refers to the way elements of a scene are arranged in a camera frame. The first rule of framing and composition we will look at is the rule of thirds. The basic principle behind the rule of thirds is to imagine breaking an image down into thirds, both horizontally and vertically, so that you have 9 parts. Some cameras will have grid lines on the display to assist lining up the vertical and horizontal lines. The horizontal lines can be used to position the natural horizon that occurs in your image. These may be a horizon line in nature, or a line that is man-made. Here we have Backpacker Smurf trekking through the grass. By placing the grid on top, we can see the horizon line of the log in the background along the top third. The house and Smurf are positioned at intersecting lines. The grid lines identify 4 important parts of the image known as the points of interest. When composing your shot, you should consider placing something in 1, 2, 3, or all 4 points of interest in your frame. The same can be used for vertical lines. Natural vertical lines or man-made ones in your frame should be a third of the way in from either the left or right side. The theory is that if you place something at the points of interest in the intersections or along the lines, your image becomes more balanced. Studies have shown that when viewing images, people usually look at the intersection points naturally rather than the centre of the shot. The next rule we will look at is centred composition and symmetry. Although the rule of thirds suggests you place objects on the thirds line, centred composition places the subject in the centre of the frame. There are times when placing a subject in the centre of the frame is aesthetically pleasing to the eye. This can be seen here with Papa Smurf standing in front of his house, or Smurfette positioned with the vase in the centre. Frame within a frame. Including a frame within a frame is another effective way of portraying depth in a scene. Look for elements such as windows and doorways to frame the scene. Frames don't have to be man-made objects such as arches or windows, they can also be natural ones like plants or trees. Using a frame within a frame presents a great opportunity for your surroundings to be creative in your composition. Leading lines. Leading lines help lead the viewer through the image and focus attention on important elements. Anything from paths, walls, or patterns can be used as leading lines. This rusted old windmill leaning against a tree leads the eye to the superhero Smurf hiding at the top. Likewise, this vine wrapped around the tree shows the direction of Backpacker Smurf. Rule of odds. The rule of odds suggests that an image is more visually appealing if there are an odd number of subjects. The theory proposes that an even number of elements in a scene is distracting, as the viewer is not sure which one to focus their attention on. An odd number of elements is seen as more natural and easier on the eye. A row of 3 Smurf houses here appears balanced as neither one stands out from the other. The same can be said about the row of candles, with Santa Smurf passing by to deliver the presents. Foreground interest and depth. Including some foreground interest in your frame is a great way of adding a sense of depth to the scene. Photographs and films are two-dimensional by nature. Including foreground interest in the frame is one of a number of techniques to give the scene a more three-dimensional feel. Having the Backpacker Smurf in front of the Sydney Opera House adds depth and interest to the shot, as well as following the rule of thirds. Mise-en-scene. Mise-en-scene is a French term used in theatre and film which translates to setting the stage. In theatre, it refers to the arrangement of scenery and stage properties in a play. In film, the term mise-en-scene refers to everything in front of the camera, including the set design, lighting, and actors. Mise-en-scene in film is the overall effect of how it all comes together for the audience. We recommend viewing the films of director Wes Anderson to fully appreciate the work of mise-en-scene in a film. Be sure to look out for our next video on the 180-degree rule with The Simpsons.